So good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome to what we hope will be an insightful presentation to help you understand the power of this new car crowdfunding concept. So I'd just like to say a big thank you for jumping onto zoomshow.live tonight. And before we get into the main presentation, I'd like to give a quick overview of what crowdfunding is and where it is headed. So why is crowdfunding so popular? This is because it enables ordinary people to do extraordinary things. Crowdfunding is not new. In fact, it goes back a very long way. And many of you have probably already heard of it or even taken part in it. For example, GoFundMe or Just Giving. It is a way of pooling funds together in support of a cause, a creative project, or even a product or a local business. Crowdfunding possesses a huge potential, bringing people together in ways that have never been done before. This is not actually something new, although it might feel new, it might seem new to you. One of the first people ever to realise the actual power of crowdfunding was a man called Joseph Pulitzer back in the 1800s, when he crowdfunded a little thing called the Statue of Liberty. Okay, it wasn't the actual statue, that was a gift from the French, but they hadn't actually provided anything to stand the statue on. So Joseph took it upon himself to use a medium he owned, a little newspaper called the New York World, and he urged his readership to give as little or as much as possible to help build the base of the statue. And with the help of the American people, he was able to raise over $100,000 to build the base of the Statue of Liberty, the same base that it stands on today. This is an incredibly fast-growing space with more and more ideas being funded in this way each and every day in your local area and globally across the world. We've all heard about these new disruptive technologies. Companies like Airbnb, who don't own a single bed and are valued at over $31 billion. Or Uber, who don't own a single vehicle and are valued at over $50 billion. And with cryptocurrency and shopping portals like Amazon, disrupting the banking and shopping arenas. These are the types of industries that we as individuals and entrepreneurs should be seriously looking at getting involved with. And this is why I am so excited about being a part of Privileged Car Club, because it is a superb idea that has the potential of helping thousands of people escape the chains of car finance, as well as all the associated costs of car ownership. And with this crowdfunding concept, we are now making this idea a reality with the first 3 cars now on UK roads. So without further ado, let's get this presentation underway. You may or may not be aware, but in 2017, it was reported that 20% of our income is spent on funding and maintaining our cars. 20%, that is a staggering amount of money. This affects over 300 million drivers in the United States and over 30 million drivers in the UK. With Privileged Car Club, you can save yourself hundreds and thousands of pounds every year, freeing up more money for you and your family. Just ask yourself, would you like to drive a brand new car for £50 or $75 or €60 a month? If the answer to that question is yes, then you're in the right place. Before I move on to the next slide, I just want to read to you a quote by Sir Richard Branson, because I think this really applies to what we have here with Privileged Car Club. He says, if you are not making a difference in other people's lives, you should not be in business. So just keep that in the back of your mind as we go through the presentation. Privileged Car Club is a revolutionary new concept that is going to totally disrupt the car industry, and we have proof that this works. There is one thing that I would just like to ask all of you tonight, and that is to just be a little bit open-minded. Just change your mindset a little bit, because we are going to show you a new way to finance a brand new car. So you can forget the old way that typically includes car finance with high interest. You can say goodbye to those expensive loans, high insurance and costly repair bills. We've all heard of Uber, Airbnb, Facebook and Amazon. These are disruptive models that challenge the traditional way of doing things, bringing more choice and a better price to the customer. We were not invited to the launch party for Amazon or Airbnb, but with Privileged Car Club, you are invited. You are here tonight. So congratulate yourself for being on the webinar, and just think how this can change your life and how you can help to change the lives of so many others when you start to spread the word about this revolutionary car club. So let's have a look at how this works. So there are 3 simple steps. So you join via the person who shared this with you. They will give you a referral link, and you register and you sign up to the car club. And you need to find a crowd of just 3 people. So 3 people like yourself who all have the same common goal of driving a brand new car. 3 people who are prepared to think outside the box a little. 3 people who will go and speak to another 3 people. And you work together as a team. And it's just simple duplication, members helping members. And you use the systems that we have in place, and you work towards getting yourself qualified. So by the system, I mean inviting people to these webinars. We run webinars all throughout the week. We also have live meetings all across the UK and in Southern Ireland and also in the United States. So let's have a look at how you actually get qualified. And this also happens with 3 simple steps. So that's you there at the front. And to get yourself qualified for a brand new car, you need to bring in 3 direct referrals. So you can see those on the screen at the moment, those people numbered 1, 2, and 3. Those are your 3 direct referrals. And you need to have a direct referral in each pool. So if you have a look there, we've got a £20,000 package or 24,000 euros or dollars. And we've also got the £30,000 package or 36,000 euros or dollars. So let's have a look at the first one. So you have introduced your 3 people, and they then go on and speak to 3 people. And you need to have a total of 81 active members in your funding pool. And in each pool, you need to have a minimum of 20 members. So for example, you have 20 in your first pool, 20 in the second pool, and 20 in the third. That gives you 60. But you need to have 81. So the other 21 members can come from any of those pools. If you would prefer to drive a more expensive car, then you might want to go for the £30,000 package. So the principle is exactly the same, but you need to have a funding pool of 125 members. And you need to have a minimum of 30 members per pool. Now, the reason we have this is so that once you've qualified and you get to choose your new car, because you have to have the minimum of 20 or 30 members, it means that those people that helped you to get your car, they are at least 25% on their way to getting their car. So remember, this is a crowdfunding club where members are helping members. So once you've got your 81, you then have the funds, you have the £20,000 in the pot. The cash is there for the company to go and purchase the car. You also need to make sure that you have been a member of the car club for at least 3 months. Now, the reason I mention that is because some people may come in and build their funding pool very, very quickly. Now, we're all different and we all work at different rates, and that's absolutely fine. But if you do come in and build your funding pool within let's say 2.5 months, you need to be a fully paid active member for at least 3 months before you can actually take your car. You also need to be 21 years of age. So you've built your funding pool. So you have your 81 or your 125. So you are now qualified. So job done. You get to do what I did this afternoon, which I will come on to a little bit later. But you actually get to choose the model and the spec of the car that you want to drive for 2 years. So it's not Privileged Car Club choosing the car. You get to choose the car. And the car club also, they take care of all the negotiations with the dealerships. They get all of that sorted. They get all of the car insurance, the car tax, anything associated with buying a car. It's all taken care of for you. You don't need to do any of that. All you've got to do is go and have a look at the car that you'd like, go for a test drive, and then let the company know. Now, what happens is you drive that car for 2 years. And at the end of the 2 years, you give the car back to Privileged Car Club. They will then sell this car on. So this is an asset of the company. This is how they make their profits and how they become cash rich. When you hand the car back in, so long as your original pool has been maintained, you will then get to drive your next brand new car. Now, I know that if there's any guests on here, this may be a lot of information to take in at this stage. Please don't worry about this. You know, it takes a little while to get your head around the concept, but don't worry, pop your questions in the chat, or you can we can discuss them at the end. Okay, so please don't worry if you're struggling to get your head around this. We can go over this again, absolutely no problem. So let's have a look at the costs that are involved when you join Privileged Car Club. So in the UK, your annual fee is £199 and your monthly fee is just £50 a month. So when you sign up, you pay your £199 annual fee, and this is totally refundable. You have a 14-day cooling off period. On the 15th day, you will make your first monthly payment, and then you will pay £50 every month thereafter. In Southern Ireland, your annual fee is €240 and your monthly is €60. In the United States, the annual fee is $255 and your monthly fee is $75. So just to clarify for people who may be new on here, we are open in the United Kingdom, in Southern Ireland and in America. And we plan to have our official launch in the United States at the end of May with 3 cars on the road, like we've done in the UK. Once we've had our official launch in the US, we will then very shortly be opening in Mexico and Canada. So all the compliance and the legalities that are involved when we go into a new country such as Canada and Mexico, that has all been done, and we would just want to launch in the US before we then take it to Canada and Mexico. So if you have anybody you know in Canada and Mexico, you can start talking to them today because it's not going to be very long. Okay, let's move on and let's have a look at what the monthly cost includes. So your £50, your $75 and your €60 covers your fully comprehensive insurance, your car tax, your full new car warranties, and also breakdown cover. But look at the fourth one down. There is no credit check. This is such a massive game changer. Privileged Car Club are going to be able to help so many people. Now, you may have been in this situation like I was many years ago, had a bad credit rating, really difficult to get yourself out of that. So, you know, the thought of going to a finance company and asking for car finance, yeah, you don't really want to be doing it, because they are going to sting you even more for higher interest if they even take you on in the first place. So, you know, the doors are shut on so many people, but not anymore with Privileged Car Club, because we are purchasing these cars with cash through this simple crowdfunding concept. We are buying them cash. We don't need car finance. We don't need bank loans. Therefore, there is no credit check. So Privileged Car Club is really and absolutely open to everybody. There's also no mileage penalty. Now, this is absolutely fantastic as well. So in the UK, to give you an example, the average mileage is 12,000 miles. Now, somebody like myself, I do about 10 or 12. Some people may do more. If you do more, you are not going to have any kind of penalty. You won't have to pay anything extra for doing a higher mileage. The only thing that you need to do is, when you're giving your insurance details over, then obviously you know roughly what your annual mileage is. You just need to make sure you are giving the accurate information. Okay, let me just move on to the next slide. So let's have a look. Now you know what the prices are of Privileged Car Club. Let's have a look at some comparisons. I mean, it's a no-brainer. This is an example in the UK. So you've got this lovely new Insignia. Now, this is an example in the UK. You could pay over £400 a month to lease this car. Now, this car fits into the £20,000 package. That is a huge financial commitment. I was talking about this on my live video just before I jumped onto this webinar, and I refuse to get myself tied up in car finance. I've been looking at for the last couple of years to replace our car. You know, I'm not prepared to pay that kind of money. It's such a big commitment. But look at Privileged Car Club. You could drive this brand new car for just £50 a month. Just look at how much money you're saving here. What could you do with that money for you and your family? Let's have a look at the Mercedes C-Class, a very popular car, beautiful car. But you've got to, in this example in the UK, you've got to put up £5,000 up front, which is a lot of money for the average family. And you're then paying £400 per month for 36 months. You know, it's not like you're going to pay this in 6 or 12 months. That's 36 months. Again, it's a huge commitment. And you're committing to something that is depreciating, you know, month after month. With Privileged Car Club, this fits into the £30,000 package. So build a funding pool to 125 members, and you can drive this brand new car for just £50 a month. So just take a bit of time there to take in those figures. Just think about how much money you can save. Okay, so I hope that you now know the benefits of Privileged Car Club and how the system works. So you want to know how to join. Well, as I mentioned before, you join with a referral link. So you always join somebody. You pay your annual fee, and then you pay your monthly fee every month thereafter. And you use the methods and the systems that I've explained to you, and you work towards getting yourself qualified. Now, it's not complicated. It's a straightforward process that is really accessible for everybody. And there's no time limit on this. Absolutely no time limit. Some people will come in and they will build their funding pool quite quickly, and that's absolutely fine. But I would say, and I say this to anybody who I speak to about this club, I think that you should look at this as something you're committed to for the next 12 months. And, you know, just think about how much you would be spending in that 12 months. It's really a very small amount of money. I think 6 to 12 months, and you should be able to build that funding pool and drive away in that brand new car. Okay, I'd like to explain something extra, something that is a bonus to being part of the Privileged Car Club. Now, being a member of the car club and driving a brand new car at such an affordable price, for me, you know, that's enough. I'm totally happy with what we have there already. But Privileged Car Club have actually given us something even extra, which is called a re-entry. Now, this is additional, but I'm going to explain it here because this is, the potential for this is mind-blowing. Now, what you can do, once you are qualified, you've qualified for your car, you can then do what we call a re-entry. Now, what that means is you come back into your weakest pool. Remember, I said you've got 3 pools. One of them will grow slower. No, it's just the way it is. One will be sort of ticking along quite nicely, and the other one will be going off at some fast speed because we all work differently. We're all human. So when you re-enter, you come into the slowest pool. They need a little bit of help. So you're giving it back to them. You're helping those people that helped you to get your car. Now, the reason you would come in and build another pool, another funding pool of 81 members, there's 3 reasons why you would do this. You may want to upgrade your car after the 2 years. So once you've given your car back in after 2 years, if you've re-entered, you can add an additional £20,000 to your original funding pool of £20,000 or £30,000. So potentially there you could have £40,000 or £50,000, and you could drive, you know, a very, very nice car. Or you could actually use this £20,000 or €24,000 or dollars to actually take a second car for a family member. So maybe you have a son, daughter, or a spouse. They're not a member of the car club, but you could actually get them a car that falls within the £20,000 package. Or what you can do is you can take an advertising allowance of £1,000, $1,200 or €1,200 every month, so long as your funding pool of 81 is maintained. So you're actually the perfect advert, you're the perfect ambassador for the club. You've got your brand new car. Now, what do we do when we see a brand new car? If our friends or our family have one, of course we comment on it because it's, I don't know, it's something that we all want, isn't it? So when you see somebody with a brand new car, you can't help yourself but say, wow, this is amazing. Where did you get this from? That's, it's a really nice car. You start talking with people. So once you've actually got your car and you're driving around, you're on the road for everyone to see, it will be, pretty straightforward, I believe, for you to build another funding pool. So you have 3 options there. Now, when you re-enter, you pay the annual fee again to re-enter, but you do not pay the monthly fee again. Okay, you just pay the annual fee. So once you re-enter, in effect, you're actually being paid to drive a brand new car. Just think about that for a moment. And for those of you that are interested in this, there is no limit to how many times you re-enter. Because every time you re-enter, you pay your annual fee, you build your funding pool to 81, and that means that the cash is there because you have 81 active paying members. So there's no limit to how many times you re-enter. Okay, let's just move on to the next slide and a quick recap. So once you're qualified, you get to choose the model and the spec per your budget, and you get to order your brand new car of your choice. The club is the owner of the car, and they pay the tax and insurance. And you are the qualified registered keeper and ambassador for the car club. If you want to, you can just re-enter, as I've just mentioned, and repeat the same process. You're now a qualified club ambassador. And once you have built your extra funding pool, you can take a second car funding, you can upgrade your initial pot of cash, or you can take the advertising allowance every month. Okay, so that's the main part of the presentation finished. So let's have a look at some photos here. So there's a photo there of me and John, and we are with the CEO, Andy Wall. Now, this photo was taken when we travelled up to Birmingham. This was back in January now. So we live in Essex, we live quite close to each other, and we did a 7-hour round trip. And we went to one of the Privileged Car Club's meetings in Birmingham. And it was honestly one of the best things that I've ever done. It was, you know, it's the best way to understand how this club started, the vision that Andy Wall has and where it all began. And we got to meet, as you can see on the screen, we got to meet a lot of the team, which was fantastic. So there on the right, you've got Jan and Alan. So they are the first UK people to qualify for their car. So I'll come on to that in a moment. There's me and John behind them. We've got Evelyn, we've got Fola, Sharon, Karen, we've got Derek. And these were just a few of the people that we got to meet. The room was packed out. I think there was about 200 people there. And when we got there, it was only standing room. So there's a lot of these meetings, guys, going on in your area. And if they're not going on in your area, then just get in touch with people and, you know, get something set up. It's the best way to learn about the company, and it's the best way to meet, you know, meet other people, and also to bring, you know, to bring your prospects along as well. So this was the launch. We actually had the official UK launch on the 1st of April. So this happened, just over a week and a half ago. So yeah, we've been, oh my goodness, since January, we've been building up to this event. So John and I were both at the event, and let's just have a look at the next slide. Now, this is why we went there, because the first 3 cars were handed over to the first 3 qualified members in the UK, and these 3 cars are now out on UK roads. So Alan took his Audi Q3, Prem had his Volkswagen Passat, which was worth £36,000, and Devon's, that's a beautiful Mercedes. I absolutely love that car. So these are the first 3 privileged car clubs cars, and they are out on the roads. Now, all of these cars came within the £30,000 package. They are all worth over 30,000, and that is because Privileged Car Club were purchasing these with cash. So therefore, they obviously have some buying power here. They were able to negotiate some good prices. Now, I must say this is not guaranteed. Everybody's discount is going to be different depending on the car. But of course, if you're paying cash, you know, you're going to get a discount. So you're going to be driving, you know, a very, very nice car. And remember, guys, all you're paying is an annual fee plus your monthly fee of £50, €60, or $75. And this is including tax and insurance. Everything's included. So this was some photos that we took from the launch. So we started at 4 o'clock on the Sunday afternoon. It was Easter Sunday, and we went on to I think it was about 8 o'clock. It was a phenomenal event. I'm so pleased that we made the journey. We stayed up there in the hotel as well, so we could really enjoy the weekend. So you'll see there we've got Prem top left. can see very, very happy in his new Volkswagen Passat. We've got Devon there at the bottom. I mean, look at that smile with his brand new Mercedes. Absolutely phenomenal. Now, in the middle, you can see John with Ali Mavani, our first United States qualified member. He flew all the way from the US to be at the launch, and he came with other people from the US as well. So it was absolutely fantastic to meet our members from the United States. And there's me, bottom right, with my husband, and also Fola. She's a very active member of Privileged Car Club. She's also doing her own live meetings. She did one last weekend in Romford in Essex. And I was given like my token key because I also qualified for my brand new car. So yeah, as you can imagine, it was an incredible event. Now, at the launch, we had obviously a number of people presenting, so I'm just going to do a very quick summary for you here. So we had Maurice and Graham and Nadia and of course Andy himself. So those are the directors. So they came up onto the stage. We had a very good presentation by Chris and Gertpree, our IT guys who work around the clock for us. They do a phenomenal job. We have Martin. Now, we hadn't met Martin before, Martin Congleton. He's the guy that is dealing with the compliance. So let me just grab my piece of paper because I wrote it all down here, what he was saying. He goes through the compliance, and what he was able to tell us is that they are in discussion with one of the world's largest insurance companies. Now, they are working on a deal because, you know, Privileged Car Club is, we've only just started, but we are getting a huge amount of interest from outside. Now, he couldn't name the insurance company because they've not signed on the dotted line yet. But, you know, they have, Privileged Car Club, they have a lot of power here in that they're going to be able to negotiate some very, very good deals with, in this example, with insurance companies. Now, Martin also went on to explain that there's going to be more member benefits. I mean, if driving a brand new car wasn't enough, they explained to us that there's a whole lot more coming. So, for example, he mentioned, and he was allowed to mention these names, we're going to be able to have like vouchers from companies like Argos and Halfords in the United Kingdom. He mentioned Disney, would you believe? And also an orange retailer. So they've just started, honestly, guys, they have just started. There's a lot of member benefits coming. So yeah, if you're with Privileged Car Club, believe me, you are in the right place. We also heard from Max Garza. He is an ICO specialist from the United States. He was part of the team who put together Dragon Coin. Now we are going to have our own PCAR cryptocurrency coin. And he's actually, he runs webinars every weekend where he does a PCC presentation, and he's also giving the members of PCC free cryptocurrency training, which would normally cost a lot of money. So this again is a massive benefit for being part of the club. Okay, I won't go into any more detail because I can just aware of, we're coming up to about half an hour going through the presentation. So yeah, just wanted to show you this slide. There's John and JJ from London. JJ came to the event, which is brilliant because I hadn't met him before. And there's Sarah, she's also part of our team, and Karen. And as you can see from the photo with JJ and John, you know, there was a lot of people there. I believe it was over 400 people. And this was, you know, this was our first big event. This photo to me says it all. Look at that fantastic selfie. There's Max Garza there at the front, a fantastic guy, very dynamic, full of energy. And yeah, he had to actually take 3 selfies because we couldn't all get in there. But hopefully, you know, by looking at that photo, you can get an idea of the vibe that was in this room. It was, you know, it was honestly, it was a day that I will never forget. It was absolutely brilliant. Okay, so just bear with me 1 second. There is no doubt in my mind that Privileged Car Club is going to totally disrupt the car industry as we know it. They will help families all over the world to save thousands of pounds, dollars and euros every single month, every single year. Families like myself will be able to drive a brand new, safe and economical car, saving thousands of pounds every year, giving us a higher disposable income, easing that financial burden. I, for one, feel very privileged that I was introduced to Privileged Car Club. So please make sure that you get back to the person who shared this webinar with you and join us today. Now, I've just got a couple of other slides I want to show you before we get into the Q&A. Now, you might be thinking, well, what's this, Privileged House Club? Aren't we in the car club? The reason I'm showing you this is because this is actually what Andy Wall, the CEO, this is what he wants to launch. And this is what he has planned to do. This was actually his first plan. And the car club actually came second. But he realized that, you know, trying to launch a privileged house club may be a little bit difficult for people to get their head around. So he decided to go with the car club because everybody knows what a car is and almost everybody drives a car. So that is where we are today. But his ultimate goal is to launch Privileged House Club. And he has said that once we have 500 cars on the road, then we will get the details of the house club. So all I can say is I'm super excited about this. So just, you know, just watch this space because I truly believe it will not take that long for us to have 500 cars on the road. Now, I just wanted to share this with you. This is what I was doing this afternoon. As I said, I've qualified for the £20,000 package. And I went out with my family today and we were having a look at brand new cars. Now, as you can see, we were all very excited, all very, very happy there. And we looked at, Nissan, we looked at Peugeot, we looked at Citroën, we looked at Vauxhall, we looked at MG. And it was quite overwhelming, if I'm totally honest with you. I, as Jon will be able to tell you, hopefully we can chat to Jon at the end if his internet's a bit better. I have been driving a very old Nissan Micra for 6 years. My intention was to only ever drive it for 1 year, but it was such a reliable car that I kept it. But now I really need a new car. You know, I've been driving quite a lot in it, and it's starting to show some signs of rust. And you know, it's an old car. I want a safer car. I want a bigger car. You know, I want a car where a big car for the kids with all the bags. So let me just go to the next slide. So this was the winner. This was the one that I really, really loved. So this is one of the MG. This is an MG GS, which is a beautiful car. And there's also an MG ZS, which is even bigger than this one. So yeah, this was our ultimate winner. We thought this was going to be the one that we would like, but we thought, no, we need to go and have a proper look. And we looked at, like I say, quite a few cars today. It was all very exciting. It was a bit surreal, you know. I've not driven a brand new car since I was 20 something, a long, long time ago. So yeah, it was a wonderful afternoon. So this is the reality, guys. You know, if you join this car club and you come in and speak to 3 people, to the right people, okay, people that are willing to look at new concepts, you know, have an open mind, don't have a closed mind. You know, if you're willing to do this, you have to obviously put a little bit of effort in. But we have such a brilliant support network within Privileged Car Club. We are now at over 1,000 members, you know, and we've done this all, we did this all off of social media. We did this all behind the curtains, so to speak. We've only come out on social media in the last 2 weeks, and we came out on social media once we had proof, and that proof was those 3 cars being launched on the 1st of April and given to the first 3 members. And like I say, we've got our first US member qualified. I'm also qualified, and we have many other people who are getting very, very close. This works. That's, you know, I can't stress this enough. So let's just move on to the next slide. So I just want to say a very big thank you for listening to me. I hope the presentation ran smoothly. Obviously, it's a little bit different tonight because I didn't have Jon with me, so I kind of feel like my right arm's been cut off. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to share a screen with you. I'm going to just show you just a 2-minute video from Privileged Car Club. So just bear with me whilst I do this. And then once I've done this, we will get into the Q&A. So just bear with me.
We are living in an amazing era, teeming with technology and new ideas. New concepts, together with people power, are changing the world we live in. We would like to introduce you to a revolutionary crowdfunding club concept for driving new cars, designed to help people, especially those with families. We love our cars. Most of us desire and treasure them. They are an essential part of our lives. We use them for work and pleasure. But what's the problem? Repairs, fuel, insurance. You can say goodbye to 20% or more of your income with these. Then there's depreciation, as well as the high interest on finance. That's if you can get credit. But what if we can show you a revolutionary new way to solve this problem by helping one another? With Privileged Car Club, we can. It's new and it's radical. It's an idea whose time has come. Using our unique membership program, we have found the answers to these problems by helping each other, by joining our private members' reward-based crowdfunding club. PCC plus people equals PCC cars. You don't own them, but you help fund them, so you get to drive them. There are no large deposits, no extortionate monthly interest payments, no depreciation. A small regular monthly payment takes care of all costs, except for fuel and cleaning. You just enjoy a brand new car of your choice every 2 years. Sounds too good to be true? Well, it is true. We already have members driving their brand new cars on the road, and we have a fast-growing membership. New cars are being added every month. All of this from our humble beginnings in August 2017 in the UK. And more countries are opening up soon. With Privileged Car Club's community membership, expensive car costs are a thing of the past. Welcome to the future. Contact a member who will help you and show you how you can drive a brand new PCC car of your choice every 2 years. Not only that, but as a PCC ambassador, you can build a career just by helping others do the same as you. This is an option available for you to choose as soon as you are driving a PCC car. Be part of the future. Be part of PCC.